Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your weekend forecast for Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, which will focus heavily on our significant winter storm, which will be affecting us mostly Sunday night into Monday. That's the 16th into the 17th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day proper itself, which will bring us a decent amount of snow. Though also the chance for some sleet and some freezing rain. So we're going to try to figure out the details, and I'm going to give you a fair warning now that all the details are not entirely figured out at this point. And so there's, I don't want to give you a false sense that I've got the forecast locked in. I do have a snowfall map I'm going to show you towards the end, as well as the forecast details. But first, let's kind of go into what's going to happen beforehand for the weekend. So first of all, before we even get to the next storm, we've got a very big ocean storm, which I'm going to show you on satellite, which is very well developed, mostly a fish storm, but it's going out to sea. It's driving the cold air from Canada down in across Vermont. And so in Southern Vermont, we're going to be cooling off today with brisk winds as we head into the afternoon. And then overnight tonight, it gets very cold. Wind chills dangerously cold tonight. And tomorrow is a tough day to be outside with temperatures struggling to get to zero and wind chills well below zero all day. Here's our next storm, which is developing and starting to come together at the surface with one piece of energy. It's also got a second piece of energy, which you can't even see on the map here, which is going to be kind of interacting with this piece and determining exactly what track the upper level and the surface low take. And the differences there are going to be significant in terms of whether we get snow changing over to sleet and freezing rain, or if we get just plain snow. I think the just plain snow scenario is more likely at this point, but it's not locked in by any stretch of the imagination. In terms of what's going on with the storm here, we've got look at this storm just developing off the coast. This is going to be a really strong storm. We're talking low pressures dropping probably into the 960, maybe even 950 millibar range. This is going to have the strength, particularly out over the ocean, of a Cat 2, Cat 3 hurricane. Really rough if you're out there, obviously, on the water, which hopefully none of you are, but I'm sure none of you are. But anyways, rough system. Here's our next storm, and here's some energy that's sort of associated with the next storm. Piece of this is going to slide up over the top and then dig down and kind of interact with what's this storm as it comes up and around the corner, and they're going to want to kind of do a dance, the two areas of upper level energy. And as that happens, will it drag the storm kind of more westerly is the real question, because if it does that, then it means more warm air gets in to the lower elevation or lower altitudes of the atmosphere, which gives us a chance for that sleet and freezing rain if we get that above zero air in at the lower levels. Above freezing, I should say, 0 degrees Celsius. So here's the two scenarios I think most likely for storm track. There is still one storm track that goes even further west than this, which would bring us, I think that's probably unlikely. It's sort of an outlier model, but it is there. And it is one of the better models. The NAM, the North American model, does still want to bring this west of us. That would probably lead to, instead of change over to sleet, it would lead to lower snow totals than I'm thinking at this point, and then it would lead to freezing rain. I think that's unlikely, but I think one of these two scenarios is pretty likely. One, that the surface low stays pretty strong and kind of hugs the coast. This would be a very snowy forecast for us. We might probably have no sleet except for maybe in a few spots, and basically almost all snow and a significant amount of snow, probably higher than the totals I'm giving us right now. This scenario here, we get snow and then it changes to kind of a sleet or freezing rain mix, but by the time it does, it's pretty much over. And so we get a big thump of snow on the front end, and then we basically stuff dwindles. Higher elevations would continue to get some snow and then get some wraparound snow on the back end of this scenario. I think this scenario, the middle scenario here, is the most likely at the moment, but it's definitely not locked in at all. And we'll still have to see exactly how quick the changeover would be, even if we get this look here. So we're going to take a look at the forecast first, and then we're going to talk about the details of the storm this weekend. So today, we're in the low 20s now. Temperatures will drop as we get through the afternoon and evening hours significantly, and even this afternoon we'll probably be down into low teens by the time the sun goes down. Tonight, windy, frigid, -10, wind chills as low as -30 in some areas. Don't go outside tonight unless you need to, or have a plan, right? Tomorrow is cold, so if you're going to try to get out and ski tomorrow, skiing conditions should be good, but it's going to be really, really cold. Quite a bit of wind still. Wind holds on some of those lifts that normally have wind holds is definitely a possibility. And we're going to be below zero at elevation all day. So just be ready for that. It is possible. Certainly you can get out there and ski in that kind of conditions, but you got to be ready for the conditions. You got to have super warm equipment and just be prepared to take frequent breaks. But other than that, though, it's kind of a tough day to ski. But it is possible if you're really liking to, if you got to get those days in. Then overnight, we're not quite as cold as the cold air starts to retreat with the approach of our next storm, but we are still below zero and pretty cold on Saturday night. Sunday, we're up in the teens with quite a bit of sun in the morning on Sunday, and then clouds in the afternoon. Sunday's actually a really good day to ski. Definitely the best day of the weekend to ski. Unless you really like to ski in powder, in which Monday's good, but travel is going to be tough on Monday. So overnight, we get snow, starts after midnight. We'll go into the details of that in just a second. Snow is going to be heavy overnight. Towards the morning, will be kind of temperatures holding steady and starting to rise by morning. And then we get into the low 30s, at least at the lower elevations, with some wintry mix. Like I said, how much sleet, how much freezing rain, still not quite locked in yet, but I think we'll see at least some at the lower elevations. And then light snow lingers, and that light snow could add up to some accumulation in the mountains on Monday night into Tuesday as we get the wraparound upslope snow effect going. In terms of your outdoor forecast, before we take a look at the details of the storm, great day outside today, except it's not super sunny, but at least a good day to be outside. Saturday, tough, really tough with the cold temperatures. Sunday's best day of the week to ski, definitely sun and chilly, but not as seasonably cold, but fine. And then Monday's great to ski if you like to ski the powder. There certainly could be some heavier snow. Even at the elevation, you could see a little sleet mixed in. So this isn't necessarily going to be like Champlain powder kind of snow skiing, but it will be decent. Travel will be tough on Monday. Let's take a look at the details of the forecast. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I would encourage you to do that. It helps make sure that you don't miss any of these forecasts. I'll have another forecast out tomorrow morning and probably one on Sunday morning as well. And so you won't miss any of those if you're subscribed to the channel. So precipitation looks to start between about 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. on Monday, or before dawn on Monday morning. Heaviest snow between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. And I think most of us will still be snow for a good portion of that. Precipitation intensity diminishes by 1 p.m. We kind of taper to probably some drizzle, a little bit of sleet, and some flurries at elevation. Strong winds during the late morning, especially on eastern facing slopes. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Some of the models want to give us damaging winds. I don't think that's likely, but it is possible, particularly if the storm takes the extreme western track that I don't think it's going to take at this point. Damaging winds would be a real possibility then. Snow could mix with or change to sleet at lower elevations, even some freezing rain in there. And snowfall predictions are likely to change. I'm going to show you what I'm thinking for right now, but those are very likely to change. So here's what I'm looking at the moment. Let me get out of the way here. So in the green areas, essentially along the Connecticut River Valley, I think we're looking at 5 to 8 inches of snow with some sleet and some freezing rain on top of that. I think west of the greens, certainly you get the downslope 5, 6, 7 inches of snow for your Rutland, Manchester, Bennington areas. Whereas I think as you kind of head west, you're going to be in the 4 or 5 inch range right along the river here in Springfield, Bellows Falls, Brattleboro, down in that area. But you head just a little bit west. If you head towards Newfane, you're up into this, getting into the 6 to 10 inches. Certainly, if you head to western parts of Springfield, heading into Chester, we're into 6 to 10 inches. That's true as well as you head north, just west of areas like Windsor and just west, and like if you head to yes. So, and then along the spine of the Green Mountains at the higher elevations, I think 8 to 14 inches is definitely possible. These numbers, if we take the more eastern track, would go up, and if they take the far western track, would go down. And right now, I'm thinking sleet is mostly mixed in the green areas, with a little bit potentially in the lighter blue shade. The purple area, I think we mostly stay snow at elevation. Again, though, that could change. So I will be back, like I said, again tomorrow with an updated forecast. Hopefully by then we're pretty locked in on track, although not a guarantee that even that'll be 48 hours out. Not a guarantee you're locked in entirely, but we should at least be able to rule out some of these outlier opportunities. And then I'll be back again sometime on Sunday, and I'll probably do a live time at some point where you have a chance to ask questions. So best way to find out that information, like I said, is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then also, if you want to support what I do financially here, makes the graphics nicer and gives me the opportunity to improve the lighting and the cameras and all that kind of stuff. You can support me financially through the West River Weather Guy, through my Patreon account as West River Weather Guy. There's a link in the description below. And these are my patrons who help support what I do, and I appreciate them, and I want to give them a shout out as we head out, and I'll see you again soon with an updated look at this forecast.